I want you to have the right team. And the right team looks like this. There's going to be a way that you operate with them and who's on the team. So the first person is just basic bookkeeping. I don't care whether that's a controller, a CFO, a bookkeeper, but if you don't have timely data, you're going to overpay on your taxes. The second person on the team is a tax strategist. Some CPAs are tax strategists, not all CPAs are tax strategists. Some CPAs are merely telling you what happened in the history of your finances and then filing a return. And so you're paying tax on pretty much everything. So a tax strategist is going to be critical for this, and I'll tell you what their main responsibilities and ideas are. The third piece is an attorney. Now, as you're hitting 7 figures and above, that should become a tax attorney. This is everything from the type of corporation you choose to different tax strategies that they can bring about, which are called reclassification. Reclassification strategies we'll get into here in a minute. So the tax strategist is all going to be around deductions. The attorney is going to be around reclassification of income. There's 4 ways you reclassify income. The first way is you turn active income into more passive income for tax purposes. Active income has self-employment tax against it, all the FICA feudal, all this kind of stuff, where passive income is not going to have some of that. You can save anywhere between 3.2% or as high as 15.3% on passive-based income. The second way to reclassify income is turn ordinary income, which if you're in the top tax bracket is 37.5%, into capital gains, which almost cuts that in half, right? The third way is to take taxable income and make it tax-free. It's almost exclusive to business owners to take taxable income and make it tax-free, and we'll talk about strategies in there. And then the fourth thing is that tax arbitrage, where you spend $1 and you're getting more than $1 back in benefit. So the first category is we're looking at, you got to build a tax team. So you want a bookkeeper, you want a tax strategist, you want a tax attorney, and brick and mortar businesses, you may want an engineer. An engineer can come in and do a cost segregation study depending on the type of building that you have, where normally you have to wait up to 39 years to get all your write-offs for a building. Cost segregation can start separating everything out and let you accelerate that tax depreciation for tax purposes. And it might take 3 years or 7 years or 9 years, and you're starting to get that up front. So that's kind of optional on the engineer, but the first 3 are really important. And this is my recommendation, is that you meet with them once a quarter. And maybe the meeting with an accounting team isn't the most exciting meeting. I tend to make it that way because I like to just throw out the craziest ideas I could possibly think of and see their reaction to it. Because every now and again they react and, well, I guess that's possible, and then that's always a good thing. But this is what my calls might be with them. So get them on the phone, and I just start asking them questions like, hey, what's the coolest strategy you've done for any other client in the last 90 days? Could that apply to me? Would that work for my business? Or I start asking a question on everything I could possibly write off. Hey, I'm going on a trip, but for this trip, what if I were to host a mastermind one day while I was there? How much of the trip could I write off? Or what if I had my corporate annual meeting while I was there? How much could I write off? Because I just find, I'm from Utah, and I just think better outside of Utah. There's just not enough drinking happening in Utah, so I've got to go somewhere where it's more embraced, and then the thinking gets a lot more clear. But like now you can have these corporate compliance meetings and you can write that trip off. So I'm looking at everything. I'm just brainstorming with them. What's every possible thing and way that I could write something off? And even when they say no, I'll say, well, in what cases could that no be a yes? And sometimes they just, it's brainstorming. So you're not getting in trouble. You're doing nothing illegal unless you act on something that was a no, right? And so just having those quarterly meetings makes a big difference.